Good. All right, we'll call this meeting, this work session to order. Roll call of council.
Mayor Hartless.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lucas.
Here.
Councilmember Shantz. Here. Councilmember Daniels, absent. Councilmember De Leon.
Here.
Councilmember Waddell. Here. Councilmember Hooper.
Present.
All right, purpose of the meeting is discussion only for animal control. Nora Yackley.
Good evening. So our IGA, about 6 months ago, in August, we did a IGA with the county as a holdover agreement. So now I'm bringing this back before you guys for the IGA, for the animal control and the shelter. There's been a couple of things going on in town. I don't know, you may be very aware. I know I spoke with all of you kind of when we were over in Phoenix at our meeting over there where we'd had a couple of dog bites. We've had another one in the last couple of weeks. So the people are out and the animals are out and about. About 6 years ago, we had, when I started, code enforcement and animal control was under the police department. When I started, Lori had moved that over to under community development. And then about, not too long before she left us, Carl, who was our code enforcement officer and our animal control guy, left and went to the county. So we made kind of an arrangement, just a handshake arrangement, that the county would be doing our animal control for us. Since that time, they really haven't, they've done the kennel portion, but they really haven't done any animal control for us. And I know that they've kind of looked to our officers to do some of that, and it just doesn't work for the officers to do it. They're not trained. I don't want my guys out there without the proper equipment, getting bit and all of those things. So now that kind of catches up to where we are today. I did meet with Megan, the county administrator over there, and we kind of came up with what you guys see in front of you as the IGA. The things in red, if we go through these, basically are the things that we're adding that are new to the IGA that weren't in there before. Mostly the definitions, we want to make sure that those, and the only reason they're in yellow is because that was what Miss Christina did for me. She kind of added that stuff in.
She added the yellow?
The yellow, because I told her I wanted it dialed in just a little bit more than what we had it. So there's no discrepancies in who's going to do those stray dogs and who's going to do what in the leash laws and all the investigations and that kind of thing. They have gone from having one full-time control officer over there to having 2 full-time and a part-time. So if you go down to 6.0, these are the things that they're wanting the town to be responsible for, which we are typically responsible for those things now. To provide the building, the parcel to operate the shelter out of, to give them a kind of a license or an IGA to run the shelter and all the personnel, they'll be doing all of that. We do pay the electric, the water, the trash, and the sewer over there. So the only thing as far as utilities go, they pay for the water, the phone and the internet service. We do all the general maintenance and repairs on that shelter, anything that happens. The thing in red, the 6.5, is where they would like us to provide a part-time employee.
I thought we were doing that already.
Is that
No.
on top of the one that they have?
I thought I just saw that
Um,
somewhere.
Would have been Carl at one time,
Would have
right?
been, correct, that would have been Carl at one point. We are not doing that now. We don't have any personnel over there at this point.
So it's somebody to be at the office, at the shelter, not a
Yes, they are,
patrolling person.
they're asking for a kennel, for us to pay for a part-time kennel assistant.
Which part of those would be our dogs.
Part of them would be our dogs.
Picked
What
up in
I'm,
town, they're ours. So is that why the
Correct.
kennel attendant?
the
Okay,
account,
just-
that's why they're getting the kennel, that's why they're wanting the kennel attendant. They're saying that us paying for all the utilities, providing the building, providing all the maintenance and repairs would go towards a control officer, so somebody that would actually pick the dogs up, do all the patrolling, which they haven't exactly been doing lately. Obviously, with the dog bites and the complaints, the high amount of complaints that we're getting.
We pay for this out of like a grant, or is this just a
Nope,
general fund?
this is just a general fund maintenance.
And is this a town employee or a county employee?
It would be
part-time?
it would be a town, or a county employee. Here's my kind of angst with the whole thing is we're doing a lot of providing here, for that shelter. Electric, water, trash, sewer is not very, is pretty expensive. I mean, they probably use as much water as, or more, washing kennels, doing all of those as a restaurant would. Let's just be straight up with that. Those are resources that we have to come up with. So to me, that takes care of the kennel attendant right there, if that's what they're looking for. They have not asked, well, they just recently asked Quartzsite to also come up and pay for half of a kennel attendant as well. Up until this point, Quartzsite is not,
Oh, so it'll be a full-time position.
it would be a full-time position. Up to this point, Quartzsite has not participated in helping with the shelter at all. They do, well, that's
No, but he's saying they don't have to. Right. There's nothing compelling them to.
absolutely not.
But they are
So,
getting service.
yeah,
They have nowhere to put their dogs, so really,
so what happens is they provide the code, they provide the code stuff, and then somebody from here goes down and picks the animal up and brings it back up and they shelter it here.
So right now, we don't have, other than the code enforcement person,
Correct.
is that their office? Or they just spend a little time there, or they don't spend any time there? Our code enforcement person,
Has nothing to do with animal control.
okay, and are they a full-time position for us? The code enforcement position?
He's part code enforcement and building
Okay,
official.
so he has nothing to do with the shelter.
He has nothing to do with the shelter
Got it.
at all.
Do they have any monetary responsibility for that? Like, are they forking out money for anything
The county? Well,
aside from staff?
Well, they're, yeah,
They
they
would
have
do- they
three
would-
trucks, 3 animal control trucks, and 2.5 animal control people
correct. And then
driving around, the fuel, the insurance. I mean, there's a significant cost, I'm sure.
there is.
But right now, if somebody, who's taking care of the animals? Volunteers, like ARF, is that,
Mostly.
okay. So there's no kennel attendant,
Well, the control people go in and they do the kennel attendant, they clean out and they feed and they do all of that. And then ARF comes in and they fill in a lot,
yeah, I'll bet.
a lot.
How, like, is there any idea of the percentage of dogs or animals in general that end up in there to the amount that leave, like, adopted?
I am waiting for those numbers. I was hoping that Carl would be able to provide those to me before tonight. I asked him a couple of weeks ago for that because I would like to know how many that they've actually picked up in town and how many they're
Right, Salome.
correct and
Countywide, yeah.
and how many actually get adopted out versus how many that they've, we're a no-kill shelter, and ARF has made that very, a really high priority. And so ARF, a lot of times, will take some of the animals up to Havasu. They also take them, other places here in Arizona.
Hear a lot that this one's full.
It is very full. It's very full.
Yeah, I don't even know like what the seed of all that is, how do you get to the source of that? Are we
Spay and neuter.
perpetuating it though by being the sanctuary,
Spay and neuter.
It's, they,
bringing all the dogs here?
It just depends, like in the wintertime, you'll have a lot of snowbirds that'll come down, they have dogs, and they figure out they can't handle them anymore, and they'll drop them off. Or just turn them loose.
Right. It's almost two separate issues, because that's obviously an issue, but then there's the other issue of all the dogs running around town. That's like a.
Yeah, on that issue,
it really is two separate
is
issues.
it safe to say that a tribal owned dog, we have no authority over that?
Yes, you're safe to say that.
But no, if
However,
a tribal owned dog bites somebody,
mhm.
then we can take authority over it or no?
we would call CRIT,
Game and Fish?
Game and Fish, and
Okay.
they would come and deal with that. And the last dog bite was a tribally owned pet. He came out and bit the gentleman. So that one was a little bit different, but CRIT's been really great working with us with all of these animals here in town. They really have been. I will say that we got kind of crossways with them. Well, we didn't, the shelter did. Because Carl went on somebody's property and messed with some traps and did some things that he
No,
really shouldn't
I
have.
thought Carl had
but-
nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Carl now works for the county. He is the department head
Oh,
for,
okay.
um,
So he's not our guy
Not-
we were talking
no.
about, okay.
he's no longer works for us. He is a county employee. So that kind of got a little bit sticky in there. I mean, they were definitely not upset with the town, but they were definitely upset with the shelter and how that kind of went down. So yeah, we really are doing two, and they're, the shelter or animal control is really looking at, well, how do we know if it's a tribal dog or not a tribal dog when it's in town? You don't. I have my own little hoopla that I normally say, but I'll keep it kind of to myself at the moment. Just assume that they're town dogs. If they're within the 1 square mile of Parker, assume they're a town of Parker animal. If we can find an owner and it happens to be a tribal owner, then we'll turn that over. But for the biggest part, my biggest thing is just assume it's a town dog.
They have,
I mean, you just do.
Can't ask him for his tribal
So wouldn't it
dog
be
ID.
better
Yeah. He may be a descendant, but
to pay for an animal control officer than somebody to just sit in the office over there?
Well, I can tell you that they really need somebody sitting in that office, right?
Yes.
Is that, I mean, the guys that are catching the dogs are responsible for that whole facility. They're not in
Correct.
there cleaning, they're not in there answering phones, they're bringing animals, doing the very minimal maintenance. Just because of and I'm not saying that I'm blaming them, it's the nature of what they do. They're out patrolling. But I know that they really need that. That place needs to be maintained better. It needs more representation there on site. Is that safe to say? I think?
And the problem is, you have somebody wanting to adopt a dog, you go a couple times and it's locked.
Yeah,
It's like, well, I'll go to Havasu,
Sure.
or whatever.
Ding, ding, ding.
yeah.
if the county's already providing 3 kennel attendants, and if Quartzsite and the town would both share 1, and again, maybe pay the county for that, then there would be enough people to rotate, where when they're not attending to the dogs and the cats and everything else, at least the office could be
Good point.
open.
And it might take a lot of pressure off the volunteers, right? Because if there's somebody in there 4 10 or 5 8-hour shifts, then that means the volunteers can pick up the slack on the weekends or whenever.
So they've been really working hard on that. They have Lexi over there. She's the new gal.
Mhm.
And I think she kind of serves in both roles in that, like adoptions and kennel attendant capacities, as well as probably helping Carl and Barry. But yeah, having that person, just like you said, you show up and the door is locked twice. Well, it's not important to you to be open, so I can come get my dog or adopt. So, yeah.
So do we know the cost of this part-time person? Like, what's their salary gonna be? or-
I believe they start at 15 an hour, is what she was saying.
So it's
So it's
about
about-
37,
you're about 30
38 with benefits
With,
and everything?
with all your benefits, because you're about
Because
34.
it would be, we're paying a part-time, but they would be a full-time employee.
Correct.
So we gotta pay half their salary and half their benefits. And the
Correct.
benefits are 35%, something like that, which would
You're
make
about
it
you're,
close to 40, probably. So-
yeah.
Our half would be 20. I find that to be incredibly reasonable for what we're talking about, I think.
Let me ask this. I think one of the biggest expenses going forward, based on what the next plan might be for the shelter, would be probably the utilities. So we might need to, if that happens, look at the agreement, because if we're providing a brand-new building and all of that, and the shelter goes to, I don't know if double is the right square footage we're thinking about, that's gonna be a huge increase in the utilities part of running this shelter.
Any idea what cost we're talking for like electric during the summer?
I think it'll depend on the size of the possible new building.
But a new building,
Increase it 50%.
a new building too would be better
I was
insulated.
gonna say, it's gonna be more
better
energy,
air conditioning system.
more
and all
energy
that.
efficient
and the
than
plumbing.
what we have now, because right
It's
now
bad right now.
Yeah.
it is very
And
bad.
there's some money out there to rebuild it,
Yes.
basically. There's enough money to rebuild it. It's just a matter of getting it worked out.
It would only be about 21,000. to us.
Our part,
Mhm.
yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
2460.
I'm
So-
all for like helping the shelter, but it kind of seems like we're forgetting the core of the problem, and that's all the animals that are out on the street that are gonna end up there.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Like, we'll keep building it bigger and bigger and bigger, and they'll just keep filling it up, Like,
But they did have what did they have this weekend? What do you call it, the
Yes,
spade
we were-
neuter?
Yeah, well, we had a shot clinic this weekend, so
What
it's
kind of
gonna
rifles
be
are you using?
an endless problem until we get a vet in the area.
Yeah.
So ARF has been diligently working with WAS, Kingman Spay and Neuters, for coupons, for getting vets in here. We've had the Arizona Humane Society down 3 times in the last 8 to 12 months to conduct spay and neuters. That's our biggest problem. We can't get ahead of the problem because there's not enough people to fix the problem.
Literally.
The
Nip it in the
veterinarians
bud.
are our issue, not the animals. So go to veterinarian school.
irresponsible owners.
Yeah, and I don't have animals. I'm super allergic, so, but I have sympathy for the dogs and the dog owners and the cats. And I think it's important that we, based on what I've seen over there, I'm hopeful that it's gonna be a lot better in the near future.
Yes.
But I think this is a step in the right direction. You said Lexi? What does Lexi do?
She's new over there, and I think she kind of works in the office and then helps them wherever
Work for the
they need to
county?
help in. Yeah. So she's that third person. So you got Carl, Barry, and
Okay, she's a part-time,
Right.
probably.
Yeah,
she's
3,
part-time or full-time. I'm not sure.
I think she's full-time at the
she's-
moment.
yeah, I
They're just looking, what the county, I mean, they're thinking that the staff that they have right now is going to be sufficient. What they're looking for is for us to help pay for half of Lexi's salary. Where I'm at is, I don't have a problem paying for that half of that person, but we need to see some animal control things here with them, or we need to take the animal control portion of that back and either hire a part-time animal control person or put that back under chief and let him send a couple of his officers to training and get him the appropriate equipment. I'm probably getting shot in the back of my head here.
And if I'm an officer, that's the last thing I want to do.
Animal control guy again.
To be responsible for picking up dogs. That's not
But
what I
we-
got in this for, but
And it takes a certain kind of person too.
It
You
does.
can't have chief go up and.
So is there anything in the MOU that indicates what they have to provide for the town for them, control,
So-
the percentage or whatnot, or, because I'll tell you right now, even with the two they have, and if they make a full-time, a third full-time, they're busy a lot with down south. Again, we've had calls, and our guys will try the best to do, but one, we don't
They
have the
have.
equipment to do it, we don't have the catch poles, don't have the kennels to do it. And
I don't
get a dog bite, and no one wants to know what the outcome of that is, that we're gonna deal with if we have a vicious dog, and that's never good. So, with this MOU, what does it look like for the county to provide services to town? And then you're talking about, we're paying all the utilities, we're paying all the maintenance of the building, all capital improvement projects, courts, and we're also wanting to pay half of kennel attendant. Courtside's going to, hopefully, they're trying to get Courtside pay half a kennel attendant. Why are they not paying for utilities and maintenance as well? Because they are utilizing the facility as well for the dogs. So are we gonna come out ahead by doing this, or like she said, if we take this back and we have this, and we have somebody that's dedicated to town specifically for our residents?
The county has.
The county has, yes, I have.
So when we've called them, I know
They're
Carl has
going to
called
go
me
ahead
to
and do
ask
half.
us to help set traps or catch a dog. And listen, we're busy with helping other agencies out, short-staffed. We're busy, I know we have some downtime, but we will try if we can, but I don't want to be relied on to be the backup animal control, because we can't do it.
It's my understanding also that since they've hired the kennel attendants, then that means Carl isn't over there feeding and watering and doing all of that.
theoretically, they should have more time to be out on the street.
Right, right. And, I would also say the reason I prefer the town not to get back into the business is then our people have to be on call 24/7 to go pick up a dog too. So it can't just be one person. And I really don't like our officers in a way taking on a liability of a dog that they don't know either. And I would hate to lose an officer because, we sent them out on a dog bite, now they're out for 6 weeks. That doesn't make sense.
I would like to see it in-house, have our own officer, because I've worked for the county, and I've been in that situation, being an officer. I've had to wait 6 hours sometimes, and I'm a county employee, waiting on a county people. It'd be the same thing here. It would just,
Well, they've hired, though, with the kennel attendants, now they have, is it 2 full-time animal control? It's either 2 or 3,
And-
not
but
just
they
the
have
one
3
guy. anymore.
trucks, I understand.
So they've hired more people to be out in the field.
we had 2 full-time when I was working, and it's still the same thing.
Yeah, but they were also at that time cleaning.
Say if you got a call and you went,
Yeah.
you're a kennel attendant or a animal control, and you go, well, I'll be there when I can get there, I have to feed the animals right now. There's none of that, should be none of that anymore. They should just be able to respond.
I would trust a volunteer to shovel poop and spray, but I wouldn't trust a volunteer to go out and deal with a dangerous dog. You know what I mean? So if you're using the resources.
We don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And if
we
you're
can't.
using your resources, the one position is significantly easier to get filled by a volunteer, whereas you're not gonna, there's still the void of needing an officer to respond to the animals.
So within this, if you go to 7.0 is what the county is responsible for within this IGA.
Within the law.
Yes, and within state statute. That's kind of the other piece here. So they would, the operational cost, which would be the cost of the drugs, the vaccinations, those kinds of things that they would use in the shelter. Now, they would supposedly bear that cost, but they can't give the drugs or the vaccinations without having oversight of a veterinarian. And also in speaking today with some of the ARF people, ARF is providing most of those drugs and vaccinations. So the county's not having to pay for those as much. But within this confine, they would be responsible for that, however they accumulated them. The operation of the shelter, and I will tell you that we put in here not because we were trying to be stinky or not because we were being, rude or whatever, but a cost of weekly cleaning service. It is such a mess over there. And those animals are, it's horrible.
Turns into a humane issue.
Absolutely.
Aren't they
And,
paying for that? I read somewhere that they were,
well, that's
what we put in.
no, that's what yes, we put that in there for them to do.
Another question, is there a vet that comes and volunteers now?
We don't have one right now.
Because the guy that was doing it, I can't remember his name, he's no longer doing it.
Joe,
Dr. Joe?
Dr. Joe.
No, he's
Pretty
very
sick.
much retired and very much, he's in a home. So we did have Rayanne for a while. She's obviously off playing mom now, and they're building a house out of the area, so we don't have a vet that
Were they
actually,
building in town or in Havasu?
it's not here.
not here.
Don't make the tears come. And then we also in 6.2 did try to, actually that should be 7 point, put in there that they would do animal control services to the town as defined and further described in Exhibit D, which if you go to all the way to the back is Exhibit D, and that kind of gives a rundown of what we would like them to, the services we would like them to provide as far as animal control. And we did give, to David's point, some response times in there because we don't want our officers having to sit out there for 5 or 6 hours.
What if they exceed the time?
We based that on our descriptions in, and definitions as far as priority and of dispatch, and then, so those tied together.
No, if we had a priority one and it took them 48 hours to respond, what then?
We will have to, that's something that I'm kind of looking for you guys to help me. What do we want to do? Do we want to do this? Do we want, what parameters do we want in there?
Don't like being involved with the county at all.
So do we know the percentage of the dogs that come from the county as opposed to the 1 square mile of town?
We don't as of this point. I was hoping to have that by today. I asked Carl for that number almost 2 weeks ago.
I'm just kind of looking at it, the same thing, like homeless shelters, communities build homeless shelters, and then homeless people from all over go to that community because there's a shelter.
And then they're not staffed.
So this is just kind of a work session to kind of go over and get some ideas and stuff going, and then,
What would it cost us theoretically to have a dedicated animal control officer
With a vehicle.
with a vehicle? 'Cause,
It can't just be one officer.
we don't have a vehicle, what was the,
Wouldn't it be close to 100 a year with the vehicle and everything?
I would
Oh,
think
it'd be
at
more than
least.
that.
Well, for the first year, probably.
at least,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, your cost is gonna go down a little, next year, because you're not gonna have the expense of the vehicle, although we would probably just retrofit one of our vehicles that we have now.
Yeah, because they're not traveling to Siloam or.
Right,
like Idaho or-
the truck that, Carl had used prior, just went to our code enforcement officer and building official. His radio, same thing went to him. So we kind of repurposed all of our animal control things for our code enforcement and building guy, so we would just have to revamp all of that. So the first year, it's gonna be quite expensive to get that back up and running.
Well, the
But you
salary
can't-
would be 65 to 75 with benefits, wouldn't it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're at least 50 to 55 with all of that.
You can't just have one, because if he goes on vacation, then here we are with
Well, we've-
no officer.
Well, we've always had one.
Yeah, but you gotta have more than one.
Isn't it statutory, it's the county anyway?
Yes. State statute states that,
Parker would be
That's why
just
we shouldn't.
beneficial for us, for the town.
state statute states that the county must provide
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so we're paying the shelter, we pay the power, the water, everything. And now they want us to pay, on top of that, they want us to pay the salary of the county officer.
Yes,
Half.
Or half.
It is a kennel attendant.
yes. A part-time
Minimum
employee.
kennel attendant.
It doesn't, they'll use them however they, see fit, but, yeah, a part-time person.
Figuring at 35%, like Randy said, it'd be about 21,000, our half.
Yeah, but we're still not guaranteed a town response
No,
time or
we're
anything
just,
like
what
that.
we're doing is we're taking the work off of the animal control people that are cleaning and feeding.
Yeah.
animals
And this would be for 1 year or,
Well, the IGA is, I believe we put in here for 5 years. With the agreement that we could come back at any time and renegotiate
okay,
this.
because I was thinking what, if we did it and then
And if we could do it for
we
1
see how
year,
it goes for a year and if we go, nothing's changed.
Well, why would it change?
well, if we put
Well, it
some,
should change.
it should change, in theory.
Yeah.
I don't see why it would, though.
Because
we're not
the-
really changing anything, all we're doing is paying.
That's
Mm.
true. The
We're
person's
giving
already
them-
full-time.
Kennel
There should
attendant.
theoretically be a head there that wouldn't be there.
Right.
No, but he's right, because it's already a full-time position.
Yeah, so
We're just agreeing to
we're
pay half of
supplementing
that,
the county.
but they're already paying a full-time person to be there, so yeah, you got a point there.
And the thing about the officers spending less time cleaning and stuff.
They should be doing that now
they
if
should-
there's a
that should
full-time
already
kennel
be,
attendant.
Yeah, going on. And I haven't been there, I mean, honestly, I haven't probably been there in a year and a half, or maybe 2 years. But I mean, I do know that the last time I went in there, it was terrible. I mean, so,
A month ago, you opened the door and there were dogs literally in the office. They're everywhere.
we went to look at one and they hadn't cleaned up their stuff, so then they had all stepped in it and rolled in it for a day or so. Like every dog in there was disgusting, I'm like, oh my God.
Well, and, with all of this said, I think we owe a big thank you to the ARF and the volunteers over there, because I know they do an incredible amount of work.
Huge
And they
amount,
raise a lot of money to do things and stuff, so
huge amount.
kudos to them.
So I guess with that being said, I'll work on this a little bit more and put some ramifications if they don't follow our service agreement, what those would be, and meet again with Megan and kind of see where she's at with this. And then we'll come back and reconvene and have another, and I'll have a little stronger numbers for you as far as how many we serve and what it would actually cost us to ramp our program back up, and what it would cost us to continue with one.
And the thing is, the
Person.
county also,
Numbers from Carl, too.
Yeah.
That would help a lot.
but the county also takes the liability of all the
That is a
all
very
the
true
dogs
fact.
and all of the
So-
medication, and the reporting for that medication is very serious.
We would not, we would not take over any of that part. The only thing that the town would take over would be the animal control portion of it.
Because I know the
Within the town, but-
liability is very expensive for that program. Okay, 6:05.
Yes.
All right, well, that was just a discussion, right? No action on this agenda. All right, so we'll adjourn this work session and call the public hearing regular.
Can we take a 2-minute break?
Sure.
here?
I'm glad to see that.
Oh, really? God. The county just got a threat and they're back building the building. Ridiculous. I thought Chief was here. Had to take off? Oh,
Yes,
got it.
they evacuated the recorder's office.
While we're in break, I would like to thank the voters because it's been packed at the church
A threat
all day
of the
long.
county.
Yes.
Well, they're counting the votes. It's happening all over the country.
Supposed to know what to do with all that information.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to, I just had to tell them we were pulling that.
Okay, I would like to explain, but I don't want it on record, and I don't want it on the recorded.
Can you guys step out?
We can.
That would be much easier for the recording.
What are we doing?
We're walking and talking at the same time. Amazing. And chewing candy. Three things.
Folks, we'll be right back. We'll get started in just one moment.
Hey, I'm gonna meet staff over there because
Got
we're
it.
barricading.
Okay.
I saw your little guys walking. That's so exciting.
Yes, that was very cute.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
He's only 9 months old. I think my dude started walking at like 10. Yeah. Yeah. How old is he now? He's 4. 4? Okay. Yeah. He's got me on my toes. Yeah. He is throwing up everywhere today.
Oh, lovely.
There's nasty bugs going around. Yep.
That's how this wind doesn't help.
So you have to hit here, we open the evidence rooms and start.
Yeah, I'd love to kick somebody's ass that's involved in that stuff, so.
Yep.
Send them over.
Kinda silly.
All right.
Well, we won't be doing,
So we're to call this public hearing regular meeting, executive session for the Town of Parker Council. Do we have,
the regular.
we'll call the public hearing to order. Do we have a roll call of council?
Mayor Hartless?
Here.
Vice Mayor Lucas?
Here.
Councilmember Shantz?
Here.
Councilmember Daniels, absent. Councilmember De Leon?
Here.
Councilmember Waddell? Councilmember Hooper?
Present.
All right, so the purpose of the meeting is a discussion on a public hearing for the proposed increase.
I think we're gonna have to,
Steve had to go. I can present this if we need to.
You know, it honestly is been presented, right? It's
yes.
just
Yes, this was brought back because we wanted to make it clear to the public which alternative we were adopting, which was alternative 4. Those were included in the item in your packet, so you had that. It outlines all of the rates and charges and all of that good stuff. All of the public postings were made, all of the newspaper postings, all of that good stuff we redid. So this was just the time for the public to come make comment, on it.
Anybody? You guys are the public today, so anything? I think probably only one of you actually lives in the town of Parker, if I'm not mistaken, but Josh, do you have anything to say? No, okay. But yeah, nothing's changed. Mistakes were made last time that I would take the responsibility for that. It kind of delayed the whole thing, so the basic plan hasn't changed. We had to kind of backpedal because of mistakes that I made, so. All right, so with no comments, any questions, any comments from the council? Okay, so we'll adjourn this public hearing and call the regular meeting to order. Roll call the council again.
Mayor Hartless.
Here.
Vice Mayor Lucas. Councilmember Shantz. Here. Councilmember Daniels, absent. Councilmember De Leon.
Here.
Councilmember Waddell.
Here.
Councilmember Hooper.
Present.
All right, so we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if we would remain standing for the invocation by Pastor Louis Marsh. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time where we can gather to do the business of the town of Parker. We pray you'll bless our leaders and ourselves as we work together to make this a better place to live. And we pray tonight for our country as well, Lord, on this election day, that whatever the results may be, they will be pleasing to you, and that you will help us to remember to always trust in you through good times and bad. And so we pray for your blessings on our nation and our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thanks, Louis. All right, we don't have a call to the public, I'm guessing?
No, sir.
Josh, you sure? Yeah, nothing? All right. Our next item is Chamber Director's Report. Aaron Yukin, Chamber Director.
Good evening, Mayor Hartless and council members and the public. Real quick, we did have the Taste of Parker this last weekend. It was at La Paz County Park. I wanted to take a moment and thank everyone who attended. And a special thank you to our vendors who participated in the event, and to the town of Parker, La Paz County, WeCom Fiber, and River Rat Radio, and the remaining sponsors that helped make the event successful. Though this event proved to be successful this year, our team will be diving in deeply to the evaluation process. We want to make sure that we are accurately calculating our ROI, but also the event's purpose, the branding, the logistics, and the execution of the event, especially the communication that was involved. My hope, and though I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but that this event will turn into 3 different events next year, looking at restaurants as a tour of our restaurants in the area over a period of time. That way the restaurants can participate in the event, and then turning the Taste of Parker into a taste and talent fair that'll be located in the town of Parker, and possibly a larger event at the county. So we're just gonna take a look and evaluate that. No promises, just know that we're trying to get that event back here.
It was a great event. I was up there. It was really cool. Yeah.
And events for the month of November 5th, there are a lot. I'm just going to read them quick. If you have any questions, let me know. November 5th was the Parker Community Expo. That was today. Thank you, AWC, for making that happen. November 6th is Social Security Questions. November 8th, Desert Splash, presented by Parker Four Wheelers. November 8th, PTSD Awareness Barbecue. November 9th and 10th, Another Dam Race, located at Blue Water Resort and Casino. It is the paddle race that's in town, brings over 700 teams and paddlers to the area. It fills our Airbnbs, plus the hotels, everything. Expect to be busy. The Veterans Parade is this Saturday as well, November 9th. November 9th is the Elks Charity Golf Tournament. November 13th is a basic food handlers class that is being held at the Elks Lodge. November 21st and through the 23rd is the Crit Fair and Expo. November 23rd is the local bazaar located at Western Park. We're still taking registrations. In that local bazaar, it's also going to include pictures with Santa Paws.
So ARF is sponsoring that. And November 29th is the Thanksgiving Regatta. November 30th is a light boat parade. And just a shout out, on January 8th, La Paz County Tourism is hosting a tourism expo at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. We are looking for vendors in the Parker community that are maybe even retail or tourism related to join that. So those could be rental companies. Education opportunities. November 21st is Funding Your Dreams through AWC. December 3rd will be Ready, Set, Comply, and that's under Understanding LLCs. There's also a customer service class. You can call the chamber for more information in regards to that. Our next bazaars are November 23rd and December 7th. December 6th is also the Christmas in the park. Purchase your ornaments at the chamber. For other calendars, you can go to PACE, Parker Library, Parker Community Center, and Crit Media.
Yep, thank you, Aaron.
What was the date on that LLC one?
That is
December 3rd.
When is it? Post and Rotary Dinner is also the 23rd.
Bronco giveaway. I don't know what that date is.
It is.
23rd.
Right there.
One more thing to add to that day.
Yeah. All right, our consent agenda, all items are considered routine or have been previously reviewed by council and will be enacted by one motion. If anyone wants to pull anything out of here and talk about it separately, we can do that. Items A through F is Town of Parker minutes, September 17th, 2024. Town of Parker minutes, October 1st, 2024. Town of Parker minutes, October 15th, 2024. Adoption of amended chapters 1, 11, 33, 41, 74, and 82 of the Parker Police Department Policy and Procedures Handbook. Item E is Colorado River Indian Tribes Annual Crit Native American Days Fair and Expo Parade Special Event Application for November 23rd. Item F is Sacred Heart Parish Annual Fall Festival Special Event Application for December 7th, 2024. We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Regular agenda, item 1, discussion and action to approve, deny annual WACOG contract to reimburse the town for congruent meals. Leanne Anderson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'm requesting Council's approval for the renewal of the PCSC's annual contract with Western Arizona Council of Governments. The fixed price contract is funded by the Older Americans Act, Title 20, and state-funded programs, and has a reimbursement ceiling this year of $303,675. The contract period runs from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. It reimburses direct services for congregate meals here at the center and our home-delivered meals to homebound citizens throughout La Paz County. Approving this contract will support the continuation both of these important senior programs.
Okay. Questions, discussion? No? Entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the WACOG contract for the town of Parker for the congregate meals and home-delivered meals. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Item 2, discussion and action to approve, deny Arizona Department of Veterans Affairs agreement for the use of the Parker Community Center for Veteran Benefit Counseling. Leanne Anderson.
All right, so I'm requesting council's approval to approve the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs Agreement, or license is what they're kind of calling it, permitting their assigned staff, a Veterans Benefits Counselor, to use space here at the center for the purpose to help eligible war veterans and their families receive benefits assistance. So it's kind of plugging them into services maybe that they don't have. Dates and times of services will be negotiated between both parties as we move forward. The term of the license shall commence We had in here November 1st, but this has taken a while to kind of get through the attorneys. So, and it will go through September 30th, 2025. There's no cost associated with the use of the center to provide these resources and support to our local veterans and their families.
Yeah, this is great. All right, any discussion? Any motion?
So moved?
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve, I'm assuming, the Arizona Department of Veterans Affairs Agreement for the use of the Parker Community Center for Veterans Benefit Counseling. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. You're busy tonight, Leanne.
Yes.
Item 3, discussion action to approve, deny amendment number 6 to the agreement with the University of Arizona to extend the term by 1 year for the sublease of space located at 1016 Hopi Avenue. Leanne?
Yes, so the U of A SNAP's education part, the U of A SNAP Ed coordinator actually partners with us to provide nutrition and physical activity prevention throughout the county. So it makes sense to have this person located within our team as we collaborate and can work more effectively together on achieving our community health goals and objectives. This is something that's been going on, so it's nothing new. It's just kind of doing another year of this lease agreement. So the U of A is simply requesting to extend the term of an additional 12-month period ending September 30th, 2025. All other terms and conditions of the sublease agreement shall remain the same and in full force and effect. The leaser of the building is Joan Smith, and she has been and continues to be agreeable to the existing sublease and the amendments brought forward.
Okay.
So it brings us in money to the CHOP office, basically. We're subleasing a room out, office space out.
Who is your SNAP Ed coordinator now? Person?
Her name is Nikki Yellowhair. Swick was her main name.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know Nikki. All right, any question, discussion? Entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the amendment number 6 to the agreement with the U of A to extend the sublease of space located at 1016 Hopi Avenue. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thanks, Leanne. Item
Thank you.
4, discussion and action to approve, deny Resolution 15, 2024, approving a rate schedule for water use charges and setting an effective date. Steve's not here, but as we discussed earlier, I think we are all aware of the process and the plan and the urgent need to fix this revenue, what's really not even revenue at this point. But it's really, we discovered at one point, it's a state law that if you run a utility, it has to be in the black. You can't run in the red like we've been doing all these years. So it's really not even a question of should we do it or should we not. We really have to do it, so.
Make a motion to approve the rate and water usage charges and setting an effective date.
What was the recommended effective date? Was it January 1st?
January 1st of 25.
July 1st of 25?
No,
January.
January 1st of 25.
Okay. Is that your motion then?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're moved and seconded to approve Resolution 15, 2024, approving a rate schedule for water use charges, an effective date of January 1st, 2025. Any further discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sorry, who was my second? I had Dusty first. Was there a second?
Jared.
Jared, sorry.
All right, item 5, discussion and action to approve, deny agreement with Desert Archaeology to perform a cultural resource survey for Pop Harvey Park for $8,799. Can someone else pick this one
I
up?
will pick this up for us. So Public Works Department respectfully requests that the mayor and council to authorize staff to hire Desert Archaeology for $8,799.03 to perform a cultural resource survey for Pop Harvey Park as part of our grant application submittal for the new playground equipment. So, on September 27th of 2024, staff submitted an application to Arizona State Parks Land and Water Conservation Fund for a 50-50 matching grant to replace the Pop Harvey Park playground equipment, which is in the fiscal year 2024-2025 capital improvement plan. At the October 9th, 2024 meeting of the Arizona Outdoor Recreation Coordinating Commission, they approved our grant application submittal to go in front of the Arizona State Board for review and approval. On October 17th, the application was unanimously approved by the Arizona State Parks Board. In order to have no issues when the application goes in front of the State Historical Preservation Office, which includes tribal approval and the state parks team assessing us with the submittal high recommendations, having a cultural resource survey performed at the park. According to the state park records, there has never been one performed at that location. This survey will go a long way to securing the grant funding and provide the same help for future grants at the Pop Harvey Park.
Okay. And it has to be done. Right?
What happens if they find something?
Yeah, that's a good question.
By the way, we found
We'll
some
have a
pottery
new-
under the
jail.
swing set.
Surprise.
Jail, an old body.
Yeah, ball and chain or something. All right, well, that's not part of the equation here, I guess, at this point, but we'll see. Any other discussion, comments on this? No. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the agreement with Desert Archaeology to perform a cultural resources survey for Pop Harvey Park for $87.9903. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 6, are we okay on this one? Okay, discussion and action to approve, deny agreement with AZCA Drilling and Pump for the Well 6 Rehabilitation Project for $46,482. North.
35 cents, yes, that's the big portion. The drinking water well age, the rate at which the water may be pumped called performance or yield bear with me because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Just,
It's okay, we don't either.
he's explained it to me, but yields tends to decrease. The wells require regular maintenance to enhance adequate water flow and continued safe drinking water. Over time, reduced well yield can be related to changes in the water well itself, including from materials and deposits, biofoul and by growth and microorganisms, physical plugging of the aquifer by sediment, sand pumping, well screens, and causing corrosion of the pump systems, damaging. Well 6, according to my records, has never been inspected since it was installed in 1956.
Which one's well 6?
Well 6 is over
Well, 5.
Wife
off
was
of
born.
California.
The one by the county building, right?
This is the deal where they send the diver guys in and clean it out? and all that?
Oh.
No, this is, they'll pull out the,
Casing just starts
yeah.
to deteriorate.
they'll pull out the wellhead and then they'll send a camera down in there. You're thinking of when we do the
Tanks.
tanks. Yeah,
So this was budgeted.
it was
Previous.
very much budgeted this year for the 58. Actually, we budgeted a little bit more for that. We did the 70,000. H&W well and pumping service came in at 58,752 and 66. And then AZCA well drilling and pump came in for 46,482.35. And
Is that Ehrenberg?
yes, they are.
They do most of the wells.
And Superior came in at 7,910.68.
70,000.
70,910.
We budgeted, how much did you say?
We budgeted about 70,000, so we're gonna come in a little bit under,
That's good, yeah.
which is good.
All right,
Make a motion to approve the agreement with AZCA Drill and Pump for the Well 6 Rehabilitation Project.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Only took 70 years.
68. Born in 56, so don't say she's 70. She'll kill you.
Be mad if you just said
All
it
right,
on record.
item 7 is discussion action to approve, deny proposed changes to the lease agreement between the Parker Chamber of Commerce and Tourism and the Town of Parker. Council may vote to discuss this matter in executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A3, 4, and 7. And I would make a motion that we do indeed go into executive session to discuss this property thing. So move to second to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Be careful out there.
Yeah, don't drive downtown.
Yeah.
Around downtown.
Amy, should I jump off or should I
Yeah,
stay on?
Yeah, if you want to jump off and then I'll restart without the recording and all of that good stuff.
Perfect, okay.
And give you 2 minutes.